First step is to put some fuel stabilizer in the fuel. Read the directions. So the second step is we're going to lube up the gimbals. So one here, and one there. There's three, and then also we'll come around here. We'll show you both sides of the trailer wheels. We'll also lube up. Okay, and you're just looking to see that some actually comes out. You can push water and gunk out of there. There we go. Same on this side. And we got to lower the IO. Get that top. Pushing all the gunk out. Then I like to just clean it up a little bit. See the grease come out the bottom, that's what you want to see. Bottom, top. And we'll do the wheels. Usually I need to, so this cap came off pretty easily. Usually I need to have a screwdriver or something flat and just sort of put it on the lip here, pull it away. See, there's grease down in there, and there's actually water and grease down in there, so it's exactly what you want to do, is push all that out. Just kind of clean the cap out a little bit. It's a little better. Clean the hub out a little bit. Try and get that water out. That's, don't want that in there. There we go. A flat plate, and then there's a spring, and this will come out against the spring. There we go. And we want to get it far enough out that you're actually, there you go, spitting some of the old junky grease out. Just clean that up. And don't forget to do the other side. Alright, going to change the oil. First things first, move the engine bay over. And I like to put it on the ground because eventually it'll end up there. Kind of the cool thing about this is it doesn't need to be drained from the bottom. It can be drained from the top. And how you do that is with one of these things here. You've got a pump on it, connects to the dipstick hole, dipstick tube. Oil comes out of here into the pan. So get that on. It is at a bit of an angle, so it's a little tricky to put on. You want it fairly snug, not tight, but snug, so there's no air. You want it to form an airlock, so the suction, you don't ruin the suction. Usually I can get that just by hand here. All right. And ease it up a little bit. Sometimes I open up the top of the oil cap, or remove the oil cap, which is on top. Here we go. There we go. So every year I've done this hot, and doing it cold this year, and the thicker oil actually seems to come out a little better. Okay, so you can hear the difference there. And at the end, sucked out as much as I could. There's nothing coming out. Every now and then you might get a little burp or something, but that's done. So just take that off, put the dipstick back in. Now you want to get the oil filter out. And the oil filter is down there and in the back. So I'll take you on a journey here. Alright, got a little catch can underneath. It's just a plastic takeout container from a local Chinese restaurant. There's a Thai restaurant, it's really good. And this is all done really by feel. It's hard and cumbersome to do, but once you get it, you get it. Let's get a little looser. And it's loose enough probably to pick up by hand. And again, just try and catch the drips on the oil with the takeout food container. Get that position just right. Sometimes you can push up on the oil filter to not leak quite as much. Yeah, that one leaked a whole lot. I'll pour some out. Okay. Just let it drain a little bit. Take this out carefully. Try not to spill it on any of the interior. I put just a little. Here it is here. I put just a little bit of used engine oil on the seal just to make it seat good. Just a finger dip. Nothing excessive. And put it in my hand. I kind of feel around for, there's a pipe that sticks down right there that goes in the center and threads into the center of the oil filter. There we go. Just try and find that thread, spin it in there, and you really only need to do by hand, kind of as tight as you can get it by hand. And although I do usually give it a little snug just with the wrench. Nothing excessive, just a little tightening. There we go. All right, tight, all good. Now just clean up the oil that you caught in the Chinese takeout container. All right, now you just fill her up. This takes 5 quarts of new oil with the oil filter. The oil filter change. I put a funnel on there so it's not as big a chance I'm going to mess up here and get oil everywhere. then I save the bottles. I put the old oil in the bottles and take it back to the recycling place. 2. 3. Giving it a little squeeze can get more out at a time. Oop. Also make a mess, I guess. 4. Okay, so I like to kind of pause there, and after I start it and get the engine oil going through it, I like to just check and make sure I haven't overfilled it. There might still be a little bit left in there. So I can just see what the oil level is. Should really wait a couple minutes till the oil has a chance to drip down to the bottom. But it's good just to check it. Always good to check it. All right, yeah. I mean, right now it says full. All right, and now I just try and fill these things up best as I can, so that I can take them back to the oil recycler. So this is kind of a crappy job here, but it has to be done. Worst part is trying to get this thing to balance and still pour it in. If you get a windy day, it makes it really challenging. Today's a good day though. And the higher you can go, the better chance you have to control the stream. Kind of see it filling up from the there's a sight on the side of the bottle. What you don't want to do is get it overfull. Oh, there we go. Get it overfill, and then you can't take the funnel out, which is kind of a problem. One. Once you get 1 or 2, you can use them to help balance too. There we go. Stop there because there's still some in the funnel. Except the site's covered up with the sticker price tag. Three. And there's not much left in there. Alright, and then I usually clean this out with the clean that out with the rag, and we're done. 4. Okay, this next part is a little tricky in that you have to warm the boat up. For that, I'm going to put muffs on, run water through it so I don't destroy the seals in the outboard, in the IO. Let it raise to above 160, which means revving the engine about 2,000 RPM for about 5-10 minutes. And then you want to try and kill the engine with fog as you're pumping in coolant. So it's a little bit of a balancing trick. I'll try and show you all of it, but it might be a little tricky. So first thing is fill up the jug with coolant. One. Two. 3. 4. And by the way, this is what we use: marine and RV antifreeze, -50, non-toxic. 5. And what you want to make sure of is that this breather cap is loosened or almost off, so that it will flow. Okay, I'm going to put the muffs on. The muffs allow you to run the engine, shove water in through here, and it allows you to run the engine without burning up the seals. Make sure it's sealed on both sides. Attach your hose. Turn the water on the hose. So now with the muffs on there, some water flowing, we start the engine and turn the water off. So in order to get the engine fogger in there, and this is the engine fog that I use: storage seal, fog oil, Mercury 9285 8081K03. You gotta take off the spark arrestor. And while the engine's running, once it's up to temperature, which is not yet, once it's up to temperature, and you've got all the coolant or antifreeze through it, then you want to put this stuff in and stall out the engine with it. This just comes off. I'd recommend probably leaving that on until you're just about to go do it, and then take that off, spray it in, just in case it does backfire. And before you get your engine going, you should just check and make sure you got enough oil in here after it's kind of fired up a little bit. And we have oil in there. The other thing you want to check is when you fire this thing up, how much oil pressure should be above 40. So let's do that. Yep, above 40. And I want to get this thing up about 160, so it's a little bit, I think, past that first tick. And that'll mean that the thermostat's open and the coolant's running through. In order to do that, I got to take this thing up to about 2,000 RPM for quite a while, like 5-10 minutes, at least 10 minutes. What can be effective is letting it run for a few minutes and then shutting it off and letting the heat soak in. That way you're not running the engine for the full time. Okay, what I got going on here is I've got my hose coming up to here, I've got this switch, so it's in line, so it flows all the way down here into the muffs. I'm gonna keep doing that until it gets warm. Then when it gets warm, I'm gonna shut that off, and I'm gonna turn on. I'm gonna see some of it come out already. Turn on the coolant. And then once all the coolant drains, towards the end I put the fog in, try and stall it out, shut the engine off, and done. It's all a little bit of a timing game, but we'll see what happens. Load up the carb with this stuff. I'm gonna crank it one more time. All right, and you can see the pink. You can see the pink on the ground here, so that's good. And just as a check, yeah, there you go. Right. It went all the way through, so it's good, and it's nice and hot too. That's good. So now just disconnect everything and turn off the water, which I think I did. Of course, at this point, never turn the engine back on again because it's all ready for winter. Undo the muffs. And that's good at the back. And put it back on. There's only one trick to this, and that's, you see these two holes here? You've got to get these two pipes. These are exhaust gas recirculation, I guess, pipes, tubes. Got to get those in there. There. These tubes on. And they just stuff up inside, and friction just holds them in place. And then this you gotta kind of push it on inside of the, I don't know, I think that's an engine hoist mount or something. You don't want to over tighten that because you don't want to break it. Okay, so for this we're going to change the gear lube in the outdrive. We use, well actually usually I use Mercury Precision Lubricant Gear Lube SAE 90. They didn't have any of that, so I did the same thing but Quicksilver. And there's 2 screws on this. One's at the top to vent it. Let's do the one at the bottom here first for the drain. Usually just a short flathead screwdriver works. If you push in on it, it usually is not quite as much of a mess. I lied. Okay, there we go. And once I undo the top, it should just stream out of there. There we go. And it's not streaming like I was hoping, but it is coming out. All right, so on the plugs, I don't know if you can tell, there's a blue seal. I replace those every year. Here we go. Let's see if I can do it that way. Blue seal. Just take that off. And there's one on the top. There's one on the bottom. They don't come out with the screws, the bolts. Check to see that maybe they're still in the hole, and you just let that drain. It takes a little while for it. All right, once all the oil is drained out, and there's a little bit of a trick here. Push this off to the side. Okay, it's still dripping a little bit. Actually, put that on for a little bit. So this, you're gonna pump the fluid up into here, fill it up until you start to see it come out the vent hole. There's a little cap on there, just take that off. Like this, just to make sure the gear lube doesn't get all over the place when you're not working on it. All right, stick that in here. And you want to put some sort of a pan or something down, plastic or cardboard or something, because it is a mess. Kind of no way to do this without it being a mess. And just pump this stuff up in there. And this takes a long time. So. All right, so I've got one quart in. And it's always like 1 quart and 1/10 or something. So switch to the other quart, and it should start to come out the top right here. And a couple of pumps here. Oh, actually before that happens, get the new gaskets, open those up, put them on, so they're ready to go. Right, just putting those on there. I'll put this one up here, just I think they're both the same, but I try and keep them in the same spot. Pump in here. I like to have that ready just because this happens and then it just pours out of there. Oh, get my finger out of the way. And I don't like it to make a mess, so I Try and put that vent on as fast as I can. There we go. And it doesn't have to be on there super tight, but you do want to make sure it's seated. All right, so I usually give 1 or 2 pumps because I usually lose 1 or 2 when I try and take this all apart. And this, it's a mess. I don't know any other way to do it. So be as fast as you can. And putting the top one on first is a big help because it stops it from dripping down. Ah. That's on there tight. Then it's just cleaning up. Then you want to raise the outdrive into the full trailer up position so that it's ready for storage for the winter. All right, so that's the last time the motor's going to be turned on. So we can disconnect the battery. It's just right here. And we're going to pull it out and store it on a charger, just a trickle charger for the winter. All right, so what does this take? 7/16 to loosen the hole down. Once it comes unhooked, you can take it out of there. And then it's a, what is this? Then it's a 9/16 to undo the positive and negative. And out it comes. Now I usually put this on a Harbor Freight charger over the winter, just a trickle charger. And oh boy! And when you start in the winter or in the summer, it's stuck on. There we go. And when you start it back up in the summer, fresh charge ready to go. Also, keep it up off the ground, not like this one. Helps it stay charged. While you're here, you can check that the fluid for the hydraulic fluid is at a good level. And looks like it's up at the max there. We're very close to it, so that looks good. And also check the power steering here, and that looks like it's full. So that looks good. And then the engine's been sitting for a good 10-20 minutes at least, so let's check and see if we need any more engine oil. Yeah, that's what I like to see, is nice. Whoop, where'd it go? What I like to see is nice clean oil coming out. And in the spring, I put all new spark plugs in, and that's a little bit of a chore. It's just hard to get around and get them in, get them out. One trick is I use the end of an old pen, plastic pen that I heated up, and I can make it the size of the spark plug tip there. That allows me to be, over here and thread them in by hand. It makes it a little easier. The other thing that I do, I use Watco teak oil for the wood trim there, over there on the other side, and for the storage cover. And then it gets into interior and exterior cleaning. I use leather and vinyl 3M repair kit. That allows me just to go through and I don't have any good examples here. For example, this one's a little beat up. Places that I've done this, yeah, I haven't done a really good job, but you can see it there patched, there I patched. It just stops it from fraying. Unfortunately, this is something I'll have to do this year. The other thing I usually do is I go through and just look for little nicks that may have happened in the gel coat, maybe on the underneath of the hull, or really anywhere. And I repair them with this Marine Evercoat gel coat repair, and you can mix colors. I've never been real successful with getting the right color, but at least it's fixed. The other really good product is White Marine Tech. Then the magic here is this Zing boat hull cleaner. This stuff is excellent. This is the same bottle I've had for I think 2 years. I think it would do me for a third year. The boat is really scummed up. It's been in the water all summer. Haven't used it much, so there's a good coating of marine biology on it. This stuff goes in a squirt bottle, and basically just gets squirted on, and then just take they sell a special sponge. It never lasts, but just take that and wipe it down, and this stuff is amazing. It'll clean that scum off, no problem. After that, after the scum's been removed from the hull, then I go through with an oxidation remover. This one's okay. Sometimes I have to get pretty aggressive with it and use something like a rubbing compound. But anyways, that goes on here, and I do the entire hull underneath and even above here. Everything fiberglass. And you turn this, you can see how it's kind of pink. It should be more of that color there. It does turn pretty close to that color of red once you're done, but it's about 20 hours worth of work. You put this on with a DA polisher, knock the oxidation off, and then you go through a second time with the pure wax and wax it all up so it doesn't contaminate as much the next year. Then I vacuum out the interior and go through and remove all of any black streaks or stuff like that with black streak remover. Probably the best product ever is this Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. It'll take almost everything, clean almost everything off. Then I'll hit it really quickly with this Amazing Clean. I don't find it does a lot. And then with this protectant and conditioner for the vinyl covers. Then I also clean the windows and buff all of the chrome.